All right. We are back. So, what do you guys think of the event so far? What are you getting out of it? Here's what I want to do. I want to actually, if you guys have been with us before on a KCF live event, whether it's in person or virtual as we are today, one of the things you know that we like to do is we like to actually bring you guys up on stage. I want to hear back from you. I want to hear like, what do you think of this entire day so far? So remember raising the digital hand? You guys remember how to do that? If you want to come on and just share a minute or two of what you think about the event so far, what do you think of Marty, Josh? Maybe what do you think of Tiffany, who was just on? What do you think about you know anything we shared yesterday? Uh, Deviar, you've got your camera on the floor there, looks like, or something like that. Raise your digital hand, and what we're going to do is I'm going to bring a few of you guys on. Maybe we'll bring about 10 different people on. Give you a couple of minutes to express your gratitude. I think we get to a point where we're able to receive and then also give and really take away from that by just expressing what we're getting from what we're receiving. So if you'd like to be brought on, raise your digital hand. I'll call out your name. I'll bring you up on stage, on the virtual stage here, and then we go from there. All right. So we'll take about a minute or two each because I want to get as many people as possible. The last time I did this, I kind of put my foot in my mouth. I said we're going to bring a few people on, and we ended up bringing like 50 people on. Do you guys remember that? But it was really cool. It was really cool. All right, so let's start out with, we'll go in order. We'll bring in Helene Phelps first, and then we'll bring in Neil Wilson, and then Willie Brown after that. All right, so Helene Phelps, Neil Wilson, and then my man Willie Brown after that. So raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands. So Helene, all right, you are unmuted, my dear. Oh, well, you're muted again. So, guys, here's the thing. So, don't unmute yourself. The tech team will unmute you, and then you'll be
Okay,
good to go. There we go, Helene.
I'm here.
I got you. So, what do you think so far? What do you think of the event? What's your biggest takeaway?
I've been working toward this for 10 years since I got my degree and wanting to be able to have the time to tell my story and write the books that I've been thinking about for a long time. And now that I'm able to do that, you have given me the motivation and the excitement. This is an awesome event. I'm really
Very cool.
jazzed up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, there's somebody that's watching this right now, right? What would you tell that person if they're considering attending KCF Live Virtual? And if they don't know, if they're like, hey, I don't know if that's going to be just like all of the other events, what would you share? What would you tell that person,
That
Helene?
this is different than any webinar I've ever attended, and I've attended many in getting my degree and working toward being a counselor. I'm a grief counselor, and I work with people that have a lot of pain,
Wow.
and therefore this is one of the best presentations I've seen anywhere.
Awesome.
I'm grateful that I got the email and that I could choose this because it's leading me to think about many things that I've needed to think about for a long time.
Very cool. We appreciate your honesty. Thank you. And we appreciate your bravery because it takes a lot to come on camera, right? And speak to like tons and tons of people. We have hundreds of people that are here, but we have thousands of people that are watching across the planet. So I appreciate your bravery. Let's bring on, who do we have next? Let's bring them on. So let's see. Who do we have next? We had Neil Wilson. So Neil Wilson, then after that, Willie Brown. All right, Neil, you have been unmuted. Neil, my friend, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Neil, where are you watching from and what's your biggest takeaway?
So I'm in the UK. I've been working today, unfortunately. So 8 hours of teaching for myself, teaching personal safety, and then straight in the car. I hooked on in the car because I was never going to get home in time for the actual start of it. So I was driving and had it on the dashboard and just
Dedication.
listening in. So and just made it back with 5 minutes to spare for my coaching call. So in terms of my in terms of the day and what I've taken out so far, um, I resonated, and you're gonna have to excuse me, I forgot the lady's name that was the guest speaker yesterday.
Yep.
So I've bought your program and got the revamp program, and unfortunately I've sort of allowed myself to procrastinate and sit there and allow other outside sources get into me. So this has sort of re-energized me a little bit in terms of getting my focus and where I want to be and what I want to do. My work at the moment, as much as I love my job, it's it's a cracking job.
Yep.
It's not what I want to keep doing. I'm 51 now. I'm getting bruised and battered, and and I want a bit more freedom. I want to work with my horses more, spend time with my lovely new wife, and just so biggest takeaway is being motivated, getting motivated from you guys. And I want to echo what Helena said in the previous one. The presentation's been fantastic. You guys have been awesome. The tech team behind the scene, just keeping everything running. I've run these Zoom calls for my own private courses, and when it's a one-man band show, you're juggling everything. So having your team in the background makes everything run smooth. So congrats.
Awesome. Thank you, Neil. Well, hey, we're glad that you were able to make it with us safely, because I know you really went all out, right? You're watching from the car, and then you made it here with a few minutes to spare in order to talk to your coach on time. The person that may be watching this, right, and they've never attended a Kindle Cash Flow live event, and they're wondering, they're probably thinking, hey, this is like all of the others. What would you say to that person?
Yeah. I'd say initially I was thinking the same thing. I'd seen the adverts. I'm in the community, and I was like, do I really want to? Do I want to do an online, version of this? And I just sort of bit the bullet. And I would suggest anybody, if you're on the fence, make that decision. The money's it's not an expensive amount for the VIP session, and it's definitely worth the money being spent on it. It's been outstanding. And I'm expecting to get loads more out of the remaining part of this session and tomorrow. So, guys, if you're on the fence, step off it and step forwards, and take that next step on your own journey.
Step off it, step forward, and take that next step into your own. There you go. Neil, that was perfectly said. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Willie Brown. Let's bring on Willie Brown. So, Willie, it looks like you may be in the car too. I know Neil was just in the car. So we got Willie Brown over here. And then after that, we'll bring on Ricardo P. All right, Ricardo. So Willie, where are you watching from, and what's been your biggest takeaway so far?
I'm in New York City. My biggest takeaway, Ty, is the fact that you and your crew, I love the way y'all give it up, man. Y'all give it up where is you get to see it, and that right there lets me know that this community is definitely a place for me to embrace. No matter what I go through, just keep on embracing it. Just keep listening. Even though I'm getting off, I had got off to a slow start. I'm getting off to a slow start. I'm not quitting. You're going to still see me around. You're going to see me around.
There you go.
Until one day you're going to be like, okay, now you're not on the camera or the video no more. You right here live. You made it close up next to us.
There we go. Willie, that transformation, that transformation from you being able to say, okay, remember when we were talking on camera, Ty, to where I'm at now, that right there is something that will put a smile on your face. Like just thinking like, man, I made it.
Cause you giving me the steps, and I know I just gotta keep doing it, and I'm gonna break through.
That's it.
To me, the mind has so many different avenues, and it'll pull out what you needed to pull out at a given time, and put it on paper, and bring it to the people the way you're supposed to. And I'm thankful. Ty, that you was able to go through what you go through, and you brought it to the people, and then I picked it up from where you brought it, and you gave it to me, and I'm definitely gonna continue. I'm gonna pick that up, Ty, and I thank you for that.
Hey, Willie, I thank you, and I appreciate your sincerity. For the person that's watching, I want to ask you the same question. What Well, first, Willie, where you said you're in New York, right? Is that what it is? For the person that's watching, they're on the fence, they've never attended a KCF live event. Is this your first event, or have you attended one before?
No, this is my first one.
What would you say to the person that, and I'm wondering, like, what made you say, yeah, I'm going to join? Like, I want to watch this thing. Like, what was that point for you?
Because I know it wasn't a wrong connection. This is the right connection.
Okay.
You know, the steps that I'm striving to take, right? You already took them. You paved that way, and you showing me. So now what I have to do is take heed to what you're saying, and eventually the door will open. The door will open.
There you go. Well said, Willie. I appreciate having you on here, man. It's been a pleasure, and it's going to be a pleasure seeing where you get, you know, when we send you that plaque, whether it's a gold plaque or a platinum plaque or whichever one you're shooting for, and when you send us that picture, and you're like, Ty.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to hold that to you. I'm going to hold it to you. Thank you. We appreciate you. All right, stay well. All right, let's bring up, next up, we're going to bring up, let's bring up Ricardo P. And then after that, we'll bring up Jeanette Harjo, I think it is, Harjo. And then after that, we can bring up Jessica Lopez. All right. So Ricardo, looks like you've been unmuted. Ricardo, what's been your biggest takeaway, and where are you watching from?
I'm watching now from Pennsylvania, PA, and my big takeaway.
Ricardo, you've got that Cowboys gear on really quickly. We got to address that. You've got the Cowboys football. We're not going to hold that against you right there. Yeah. The fact that he's got the Cowboy gear. All right. But in all seriousness, watching from Pennsylvania, your biggest takeaway has been?
It's been a lot, man. But I just want to touch off Tiffany, your story. Oh my goodness. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I see in a lot of AA meetings, you know, and like so many people want to hear your story, and like now it's getting emotional.
Yeah.
Because it's so serious, man. Like, oh man, you know. So hold on. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Take
but
you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to share some of my story with anybody who think they thinking about this or whatever. Like, I made reads for over a year. I just got them. I could have quit. I was out of my job. I could have quit. I'm out of work now for the last 3 months due to my injury. I could have quit.
Ricardo, you're good, brother. You're good.
Yo, I had to believe in myself, and y'all, like, it took a lot of courage because I know me. Like, I know me, and this, I'm like, it's awesome, man. Like, it's possible, man, and just believe in yourself.
The belief in yourself. And Ricardo, I want you to take a moment and look at the chat box, man. Like, look at the love and look at the support. Check out the chat box real quick here. Look at that. Like, look at the love. Scroll up and down there. Hundreds of people are in there supporting you right now, supporting your mission. This is why, folks, I'm telling you why it's so important to share your story. This is why I wanted to bring Tiffany on, because sometimes we're going through things and we think that we're the only person that can relate. But in actuality, it takes the courage. If you have the courage to share your story, then you'll find that there's lots of people that can relate. When I first started speaking, I would go up on stage and I thought that I had to have the best suit on. I thought I had to enunciate my words to correctly, you know, present yourself. But there's no truth in that. No one is perfect. The truth is in coming in and bringing your blemishes and letting people know that you're human, because other humans can relate to that. Does that make sense? So Ricardo,
yes,
we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you. Stay strong. Look at the chat box there. People are here. People are loving you. Ricardo's in the community as well. So with that said, I want to move on to our next guest really quickly. Let's bring on, because we got a ton of people that are here. And once you have came on, you can put your hand down. So Willie, if you can put your hand down, let's bring on Janet Harjo, Janet, and then Jessica Lopez after that. So Janet, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. It's Jeanette Harjo.
Jeanette Harjo. Boom. There we go. Jeanette, you've got the books in the background as well. Where are you watching from?
I'm watching from University Place, Washington State.
Nice. Okay. What's your biggest takeaway so far?
Well, first I've got to say, I came and went with I put my hand up and then I put it down. I put it up and I put it down. I finally remembered that my story was important. And so, because I didn't feel like anybody wanted to hear what I had to say. So I finally put it back up when I remembered that I was told by you guys that my story is important.
It is very important.
Here I am. And what was your question?
What's your
my biggest takeaway? I love the part about series because that's what I'm working on. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're fine. What genre are you writing for?
I write romantic
Okay.
fiction.
Nice. Awesome.
No,
Perfect.
it's not really like romance. It's romantic fiction, and it in the genres, it would be more sweet romance is what I write.
More sweet romance. All right. Well, listen, Jeanette, we are so excited to have you, and I'm glad that you did have the courage to come back and put your hand back up, because people do need to hear your story. People need to hear about who you are. People need to learn from you. They need to grow from you. They need to be inspired by you. And the only way they can do that is by sharing your story. There's millions and millions and millions of people that can relate to you. At a minimum, millions of people. Out of the billions of people that are on this planet. All right? So we appreciate you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on to, who do we have next? After that, we're going to bring on Jessica Lopez. Jessica, I think you are unmuted. Well, no, you're not unmuted yet. There you go. You're unmuted now. And then after Jessica, let's bring on Ariel J. Andres, I think it is. All right. There we go. Jessica, how are you? Hey.
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Even better now that I'm speaking to you. Where are you watching from, and what's been your biggest takeaway so far?
I am watching from California, hot California.
Nice.
And my biggest takeaway is family. It feels like home. It feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like, yes, I can do this. It feels like my brother, my sister, my auntie, everybody here is going to help me and guide me and show me the steps.
Yeah.
It feels doable. And I'm brand new. I do not know where I'm going to start, how I'm going to start, which way I'm going. And it just feels like I'm in the right place.
But you're going to start. You're going to start.
That's right. That's right. I'm here.
Right.
It feels like that sleeping giant within me has just been woke.
There you go. I love it. Now, you know what? You just said something, Jessica. You said it feels like family. Have you ever been part of other programs before?
I have, yes.
Did you get that feeling that it was like family from the other programs?
No, it felt Greek. It felt foreign. It felt unreachable. It felt like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? This is for them.
Mm-hmm.
And this feels like, oh man, let's sit at the table. I'm welcomed.
Let's sit at the table. I'm welcome. I couldn't have said it any better. So for the person that's watching right now, they're considering joining the table, they're considering coming to the table, what would you say to that person? Let's say maybe they saw an ad about this event, right? They saw an ad on Facebook or YouTube, or they got an email. I don't know how you found out about it. How'd you find out about it?
I stumbled upon you looking for, where do I begin to write? And I stumbled upon you about a year ago, right before COVID. Okay. You had a workshop in Vegas that I was going to attend. Yeah. And something got in the way. Next thing I knew, we were in COVID and those events weren't happening, but I signed up for your emails. So I kept getting a little bit of pieces about your program, and it just felt authentic. Very and cool. My giant's been waiting to get woken up, and I just felt now's the time. If not now, when?
That's the thing. So. Now, when? Especially with like COVID, I think that's one thing that we should have learned, that there's no certainty. right?
Yeah.
There's no certainty. We live in a world of uncertainty, so we don't know what each day to day is going to bring us. So Jessica, I'm so glad that you were able to come in and say, listen, I'm going to do this. And you know what? I'm even better. I'm even more glad that you said, I don't know where I'm going to start. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to get started, because that takes a lot of courage to do that. There's not a lot of people that would come up and say, hey, listen, I know I need to get started, but I have no idea where I'm going to start. But that's the most important thing to be able to come forward with, just knowing that you're going to push through and start. All right.
Right.
So there you
Yep.
go. Can't wait to see you in
There
the
we go.
community. There we go. Thank you,
Likewise.
Jessica.
I can't wait to get my plaque.
Right. We got to get you one of these plaques here. So that's the starting point here. You know what, guys? I was thinking about this last night. I think what we'll do is we're going to give you guys like printouts of these things so that you can print them out and put them on your wall
Yes.
and kind of have like a, something that you can look forward to.
That's
Right?
actually why I signed up this time, is because
Wow.
I saw you talk about us dreaming about, a time when we were successful or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And I remembered as a second grader, I won first place in the writing contest.
Oh my gosh. That's
And it
beautiful.
reminded me of the plaque. I was so proud of that little certificate. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I got to go get me that plaque.
Isn't that a beautiful thing? But that's the thing, right? Like the late Jim Rohn used to say, if you've done something great once before, you can do it again. And that's exactly where you were thinking there. So thank you, Jessica. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being open. We'll see you. Bye-bye. All right, now let's bring on, who else do we have here? Let's bring on Ariel J. Andres. And then after that, we can bring on, we got Joe Button over here. All right, then we'll bring on Rashawn Doan, who's actually in the Fast Pass. All right. So we got you, Ariel. How's it going? Where are you watching from, and what's been your biggest takeaway so far?
I live in Dallas.
Okay.
But I'm watching from Connecticut. I'm in a little town called, well, it's not a little town, but Waterbury, Connecticut. I'm on the road driving.
I lived in Waterbury for a good time before I moved out of Bridgeport. And then after that.
My cousin is the superintendent here, school superintendent here. So I'm visiting her because my aunt is in hospice right now. So I wanted to make sure I got here to see her before the end. But I signed up for this last month and almost thought it was last month. I thought the event was last month. It just happened. I caught it again and said, oh, wow, I already paid for this. So let me push the button and now I'm here. Yeah. But I wanted to say before you ask me questions, it's my biggest takeaway, there are actually two. The number one was when the two young brothers came on.
Marty and Josh.
Yeah. Things that they were talking about, and I was sharing this with Michael, my coach. It really blessed me the way that they showed how they do the research to see whether or not this area of what you might be thinking about writing in, is it good or not? Because I was under the impression that, hey, whatever I think about, I want to write my story, whatever, it's going to be great, it's going to be sales. And then he said, I wrote this book and it didn't do well at all. And then it hit me. It's like, you know what? If you don't know what the research is, if you don't know where people are already buying, who's to say that what you write is even going to work? So 100%. So I just said, wow, I can't get it. It is all about me, but it can't be about me totally. I need to do it the way other people are doing it. And then how do I repackage me so that it becomes presentable and they like it, and then I can become that number 1, 2, or 3 in that category. And I know I can do that, so that's not going to be a problem. Yeah. But it's just a matter of phrasing it and saying it right. And the second takeaway that I had was I finished up my coaching session with Michael, and I really enjoyed talking to him. He's the fireman. He's the guy who's the fireman.
Yeah, Houston. Michael Lopez. He's down in Texas where you
in
are
Houston,
also.
Right, he's in Houston. Yeah. And I shared with him that I'm a new grandfather for the first time now. And I'm so excited about looking at this project that I have helping young men become who they need to be. And now I have a grandson that I can actually help mold and shape him. And my whole focus is that. So I was asking him what would be the category, because most of the things that you talk about are fiction, you know, the Harry Potters and things like that. But he was able to say, hey, listen, I'll do some research tonight and I'll help you figure out what would be a good genre for you to start in. And that really blessed me because I was waiting for the sales pitch. I was waiting for him to say, yeah, you need to sign up for this. And because I've paid thousands of dollars for things like this, but it was nice to realize that, hey, you guys give so much information already. And then here's the coach saying, hey, look, let me do this for you because regardless of what you do, this is going to help you. And I really enjoyed that.
That's a beautiful thing. You know, Ariel, one thing that you said was you know, you had your story and then you realized after listening to Marty and Josh that, wait, I've got to do some research to make sure that people are actually buying this. And that's what I talked about earlier. Sometimes it's just one thing that can change your perspective. You just have to be open to like seeing that thing when it presents itself. So you were open to seeing it when that information presented itself. Now it changes the whole trajectory of where you're going. So I appreciate you for that. Hey, this is great. Appreciate you for coming in. And even though you thought it was last month, still making that last minute sacrifice to come in. And we wish you the best in your family and the best with the
situation work out.
That
Everything
you're dealing
works
with
out.
right now.
Everything
All
works
right?
out. Everything
All right, thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good one. All right. Next up, let's bring up, who did we have next? We had Jill Button. All right. So we'll bring in Jill. And then after that, we got Rashawn. Rashawn, I know you're walking, you're out and about. So if you're not good to come on, I see your hand is up. Let us know. But we'll bring on Jill. And then Rashawn after that, he gave us the thumbs up. So Jill, how are you? And then we'll bring on Kathleen Cribb after Rashawn. So Jill.
Yes.
How's it going?
Good. And you're going to ask me where I'm from. So I was about to answer that before you asked.
Well, actually, where are you from, Jill? There you go.
Well, I'm from New England, but I'm living in Texas at the moment, just till I can get out. So
how do we get 3 people in a row that's directly right? Like Texas. There's some conspiracy taking place there.
I think so.
Right.
But anyway, I landed down here 14 years ago for my job, and I just haven't been able to get out. So I'm a very nature person, and it's too hot down here for me. So, but you know, when I have the money, which will be soon, right? I plan on moving. So, but my biggest takeaway, I mean, huge yesterday, and I posted this in the group, is you know, and I know people have said it before, was the sense of community. Like I've been to a lot of different events and stuff, and I mean, first of all, the amount of stuff you share in this, it's like a course. I mean, and it's like what, $47 for VIP free for a lot of people. I just was blown away by the content.
I think we should increase the price.
Yeah, you should really. I mean, because this is just invaluable information, and you're pretty much showing us how to do it. And but my takeaway yesterday was like, it was like, this is what I'm missing, the community, because I had to get rid of a lot of people in my life when I kind of came to Jesus moment and realized a lot of people in my life were toxic, and I've been around them my whole life. So it's just, I didn't notice it until, you know, things kind of came to a head, and I was like, I really don't have anyone healthy, including my family, you know? So, this, I just felt like you're so genuine and authentic. I just felt like, you know, I could tell you weren't like out for the money. There was no out for the money thing. And everyone else, I've always felt like, you know, they want something from me, and it just, I just couldn't believe all the love, and it's just really shows, and I'm just very grateful, and I'm very excited to, you know, move forward here. So, and I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing either. So
okay, I was going to ask you, what genre are you going forward with? That was my next question there, but you're new, right? So do you have that in place yet, or are you still figuring that out, or what?
I like personal development, so I don't know if that's the, you know, I'd have to research it like everyone else. Yeah, I love personal development. So I have tons of books there over on this wall. So, but yeah, so I'm very interested in that. And this is something like someone else was saying, you know, I could, you know, like I feel like I could do it. It's like all these other people have done it, and I'm like, I know I can do this, you know. So I'm excited.
That one thing, right? Give us one thing for the person that's watching right now and they've never attended a KCF live event. I think this was your first one. I'm not sure. Maybe. Yeah, okay. What would you say to that person that, you know, what would you say to yourself? Like you saw maybe an ad or you saw an email and you're like, oh God, this is another thing. Like, what would you say to that person who may be thinking that right now?
It's different. Like I said, I've been to so many of them, and I hesitated signing up, but something told me to, and I almost, like I was asked to go to, you know, do some things at work in the middle of this yesterday. And I was like, no, I said no. And usually I'm a people pleaser, and I'll be like, okay. And I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And just come. I mean, it's, you just can't even explain it. You can't articulate what goes on here. And it's just, you'll be amazingly blown out of the water. I mean, it's the best event. I've been to a Tony Robbins event, and I think this is better than that. So
I'll take that. I'll accept that.
Yeah.
I'll accept that. Listen, folks, sometimes when people give you praise, you humbly accept it when it's good for you.
Yeah, and I didn't think by virtual, I didn't think it would be as good as it is, but it's just amazing. Yeah. Can't even articulate. Maybe I'll be able to in 6 months from now. So.
I'm going to hold you to that. So I'm going to bring you back. You have an easy to remember name, right? So it's Jill Button, right? So 6 months, Jill. How do you articulate? All right. Thank you. Appreciate you. Have a good one. All right. Let's bring on, I think it was Rashawn that was next, right? So we'll bring on Rashawn. Rashawn, I see that you're walking out there. If you can hear.
Can you hear me?
There you go. We can hear you. All right.
Yeah, I am out. I got called into work this weekend, so trying to do both at the same time, unfortunately.
So Rashawn, where are you? You're in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the reason why I know that is because Rashawn is part of our KCF Fast Pass group. He's a Fast Pass member. So what have you gotten out of this event so far, Rashawn? What's been your biggest takeaway?
Honestly, it was Tiffany's message about your story.
Yeah.
That, like what she said about there's a bunch of people that start a business and they have their own like best-selling whatever. But it's your story. Sorry if there's a lot of background noise.
No, you're good. Well. We can't even hear you.
Okay, good. Because there's a bunch of speakers playing music right now. I work in a warehouse, so.
Well, we can faintly hear it. It's not interfering.
Okay. Yeah, just about like how anybody can start a business, anybody could have a best-selling product, anybody could do that, but like your story is what really makes you unique.
Yeah.
And what makes what gives you value to the world, so to say. Like you can add value to somebody's life through sharing your story.
Yeah. Isn't that like the most unfamiliar sounding thing ever? Like, I don't think we've ever heard that before when you think about it, right?
It is, yeah, it is. It really, it's a real eye opener because I mean, I was one of them. I still kind of am. Like it's hard to believe in yourself when everybody, parents, siblings, cousins, whoever, are telling you, no, you got to do this, no, you got to do that. Yeah. But then you know that you have this dream, you have this goal, and everywhere you turn, everyone's just kind of shutting it down, right? So to hear someone say like, no, your story has value, like that's a game changer.
That's a game changer. Absolutely. Well said. Beautifully said, Rashawn. We know that you're at work, so many more questions I want to ask you. I'm not going to hold you though. I'll see you in the Fast Pass and have a great day. All right. We'll see you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. All right. We are coming up on a close. I want to take one more person. Let's take, we'll take Shalin Alexander. I see that you've got your hand up. I don't know if I see you're in a car, so that may not be good for you.
Hey, Ty, we had Kathleen first, and then
let's bring on Kathleen, and then we'll close it out with Shalin Alexander.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that reminder there. All right. Kathleen.
Hi, I'm trying to unmute myself. Thank you.
There you go. So really quickly, where are you from? Where are you watching from right now?
Virginia. It's about 18 miles east of Charlottesville.
Nice. Okay. Okay. And what was your biggest takeaway so far?
I'm learning how to market. I don't know how I'm not a marketing guru. I'm not a computer guru. You know, I'm just a retired woman who wrote a book and is trying to sell the daggone thing. But it's really my sister's story, which is of course also my story, because, you know, when you're born into a toxic family, the story belongs to everybody in the family, right?
So, everybody's affected.
Everybody. There are no normal families. I'm sorry, just aren't.
No. Say that again, Kathleen, because that is so true. That's like so true.
There are no normal families. They're all dysfunctional. If they weren't dysfunctional, we might not learn. I mean, think about it. Don't we learn from the hardest things in our lives? You know, like Tiffany was saying, you have to be broke and hungry before you're actually going to say, hey, I got to do something about this.
Yes.
My baby's crying. I got to do something. But yeah. So in any case, so I retired from mortgage banking, and I'm a spiritualist minister. So the things that I write are spiritual, but they're also fictitious. So like I wrote a paranormal memoir, but I haven't been selling it that way. I've been selling it like a book for women. I think I'm doing it wrong. So I need to do all that research that you taught us, going in on Amazon and figure out the best way to pitch the book, and then get busy writing the second one, because I kind of left it on like a cliff, possibly.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
it would be easy to pick up where I left off.
All right, very cool. Give me one more takeaway, Kathleen. What have you seen at this event that something else? You spoke about Tiffany. Give me one more thing here, because I got a feeling that you've been taking notes over there.
I've got a notebook full.
Look at okay, beautiful. All right, so give me one more thing that you
all say some really nice witty stuff, and I have to give sermons, so these are going in my sermon.
All right, very cool.
Okay, so I want to know about this book that they were giving away on day one, and the book was called, I'll find it, and maybe you wrote it, I don't know. Oh, I can't find it, I'm sorry.
Is it Who Not How?
Huh?
Is it Who Not How by Dan Sullivan?
Yes, sir.
Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. So basically, yep. So it talks about, instead of trying to figure out how do I get something done, you approach it from the standpoint of who do I need to get in contact with in order to get that thing done. All right. So take a look at that book, Who Not How. It's a great book. I reread it a few times every year at least, and I think you'll love it. All right. So Kathleen, we appreciate having you. Appreciate you coming in and sharing some of your experiences. Next up, let's see, who else do we have here? We had Shalin Alexander. So Shalin, looks like you stopped just now.
Yes, so I did. Cool. I went ahead and pulled over to a gas station.
There you go. I was a little bit worried about you. I'm like, we can't figure out if she's driving.
Yeah, I was driving, and I'm one of those people that don't need to be doing both. So okay, right. I was like, let me hurry up and pull off while she's talking, because I really wanted to speak. And I'm kind of like some of the other people. I wasn't going to kind of say anything, but I was listening to some other people's stories, and you never know who's going to take away from what you're doing. And I was just very humbled by like a lot of people getting on here and telling, their truth about themselves. And so hopefully if I can say something of my experiences and what I've learned from this, then hey, maybe it'll help somebody. And I'm 52, so as
you're
a 52
and where are you at right now? Where are you located?
I'm in hot Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And so I as 52, I'm the only person, I'm not married, I'm the only person that takes care of me, so I have to secure my future. And fortunately, last year, COVID was good for me in my business, because I help people with business credit, but still, I have to take care of me. So I don't want to be working for the rest of my life. I still have to secure some type of future. I do a lot of information. I give a lot of information out. I coach and I teach people on businesses. But what I've learned just listening to you, you can never hear too many times about the mindset. You can never hear too many times about what you need to do and what you need to say. You may know it, that you're supposed to do it, but till somebody tells you again, you just got to hear it 7 times really to really get it in your head. So as many times as somebody wants to tell me, I want to hear it because it motivates me. Smart. I also do really love the fact that you guys do this. And this is what I don't like about other programs. And I really do feel that you guys do a good job with this. I can't wait till you have a live one. But I really didn't think either that this was going to work because it was on the phone. I have been on the phone from 11 o'clock since the day it started. Even though I had other stuff to do, it's in my ear. I made sure I was listening. I've been here the whole time because I want to get everything out of it. For $47, this is like a drop in the bucket. I spend a lot of money for my education because, this was like just a no-brainer. And I really do like the fact that you do the hands-on. I really like talking to them about my what I wanted to do. It seemed like they really cared. It seems like you really care. So I do agree with what everybody is saying, you really take the time to let us talk and listen to what we're saying. And we don't get that in other programs. Other programs just get on here, they sell what they're going to sell or say what they want to say, even if they're not selling nothing. And you never get to ask questions. You never get to get clarification. So I do appreciate that. I saw you last year with, is it John Lopez? You were talking about this, and I saw I got on one of Ty Lopez, and I got on one of your trainings, and I started it, and I told my coach I started it, and I went and got the ghostwriter and everything, but then I didn't know what to do. I didn't have all the pieces to ask the right questions of what you're giving us now, those steps. And so I just want to tell people out here, look, I have failed many a times, but failures are experiences. Failure, you have to fail to succeed. If you don't fail, you're never going to succeed. You got to have some failures. So anybody who thinks they're failing, just say, hey, thank you, I failed. That means that you're going to succeed, because now you know what not to do. So if I didn't keep going, I wouldn't be where I am now. I don't give up. And the bottom line is, I don't care how many times I get knocked down, I am not going to give up. And I appreciate your words, everybody's words. I do like the two young guys. I can't remember, Josh, and they were very, yes, Josh and Marty. It's just nice to see young people that have, that are gentlemen, that have a really good head on their shoulders. It makes me feel good about the future and the people that I'm dealing with in this company.
Yeah, 100%. Shalin, and I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Shalin?
Yes, you said it correctly.
All right, there you go. I was practicing. Boom. I couldn't have said it any better. Like, everything that you don't give up, right? The fact that you were dedicated and you're on the phone and you're listening since yesterday, and then you jumped on today. That's a dedication. It takes a special type of person to be able to do that and stay committed and, learn from the mistakes. As you said, embrace the mistakes, because you know that you're going to move forward with those mistakes. You look at the mistake and you say, hey, let me get past this thing. Let me not let it paralyze me, and let me keep it moving. That's it. That's right. So Shalin, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the community. All right. So very cool. This is the part that I really love, guys, being able to come in and talk to you all. What I want to do next is we've got something really, really special, and this is our award ceremony that's coming up. So I want to bring on some of our Kindle Castro students that have gotten awards this month. All right. And we want to recognize them. So we've got a few folks that are here. Let me see if we can. Let's see, who do we have here? So Tech, if we could start bringing on our award ceremony attendees. Let's see, who do we have? We've got Nate. So Nate, Coach Nate Mascari, you can bring him on. You can bring Sue White. All right. She'll bring Sue White on.
Ty, do you want them all on at once, or did you want them individual?
No, we'll go individual, but you have all of the names?
I do, yeah. Well, okay. I'll just go down the list.
Okay, perfect, awesome. So we've got Nate, Coach Nate Mascari, and then what we'll do is we'll just bring them all at the end. We'll get everyone on, and then we'll take a picture or something like that, because I definitely want to acknowledge these guys. So some of you guys had the chance to speak to Nate. Some of you guys actually saw the video that he posted in the Facebook group where his son was like, his son really stole the show at the end of that thing. I don't know if you guys saw that video. Nate, man, it's good to have you here.
It's great to be here, man.
Yeah, likewise. So I want to talk to you about, what does your journey look like? Because I know you've been involved with internet marketing for a while. I think you did like some physical stuff. You were doing like Shopify, and then you moved over to like Kindle publishing. So you came, unlike some people, you came with a little bit of experience.
Yes.
Right? You probably came with a lot of experience, actually. What was that transition like for you? Like, to come over from this one space where you were selling physical products, then to come over to digital products? Like, what was the biggest thing for you there?
From physical to digital was like night and day. The thing about physical is, when we had a Shopify store and we were selling like portable solar products.
Yeah.
And the hardest part about that was dealing with the customers and dealing with returns and complaints, sometimes not too many, but going over to the digital side, especially working on selling ebooks on Amazon, you don't have to deal with customers at all.
Right.
If there's ever a complaint, you never hear about it unless if it's like a bad review, but everybody gets a bad review here and there. So it's not a big deal, nothing to get emotional about. But that was the biggest transition.
So that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, not have to worry about that.
Okay.
Or not have to worry about the processing of payments. Not have to worrying about shipping out items. It's totally hands free.
Very cool. I noticed that you have your platinum plaque, and Nate recently, I think you got it when, last week, was it that you received it, or was it this
Yeah,
week
I got it last weekend.
Okay.
Sitting on the front porch.
So Nate's got one of the newer plaques back there. You may not be able to see it. I think you there you go. He's got his picture on there. So the newer ones, they actually have their pictures on them. Doesn't that look good, guys? What do you think? Let us know in the chat box. Is that sweet or not? Right? So Nate, $20,000 a month with Kindle publishing. Like, were there any mindset shifts that you had to go like break through, or like was there something that you had to really do within yourself to get to this point? Because that's like, you don't wake up and you go from $1 to 20,000 a month, right?
Yeah. As far as a mindset shift, I've always, I'm big into self-development, and I've read all those books, Think and Grow Rich, and just staying positive and having a good attitude. As far as my mindset from moving from 0 to 10,000 to 20,000 was just having that belief that I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And also working on the skills necessary to get there. So it's not just the belief that's going to get you there. You have to invest in your skills and be able to do the things necessary that's going to get you to the next level. So for me, that's Facebook ads, and that's been the biggest accelerant to our success in that sense.
Okay, very cool. So EJ was just asking the plaque there, right? Maybe EJ's not familiar. He says, is that for music record sales? No, EJ. So basically what we do, that's because I see you have the guitar back there too, right? So we've got in our community, what we do is we reward students who come through the Kindle Cashflow community. And once you hit 10,000 in sales, meaning in royalties, I should say, we send out one of these gold plaques, right? So once you're at a level where you've made 10,000 a month in royalties, we send you one of these gold plaques. Once you get to the point where you generate 20,000 a month in royalties, then we send you one of the platinum plaques, and that's where Nate is at. Nate is at that level because he's hit $20,000 a month in royalties with Kindle publishing sales. So Nate, let's close it out with this. What's one tip that you would give as an individual who now knows what it takes to make $20,000 a month with Kindle publishing? What's one tip that you would give to our audience here?
The one tip is, once you start, don't stop. So make sure that you stay focused, do everything you can to get rid of all your distractions. You're going to have other opportunities coming your way and getting in your face, and you just have to stay super focused and just know what you're going for, know why you're doing this, and just commit.
Very cool. Very good. Hey, Nate, thank you, brother. We appreciate you. And if you guys have a call booked with Nate, definitely take up the opportunity to talk to him, because he is a wealth of knowledge. Anytime someone has achieved this level of success, you definitely want to be in their presence, right? Nate, we appreciate you. Let's give Nate a big hand. Let him know in the chat box how much we appreciate him. And you'll see Nate in the community. So let's bring on, who do we have next, Abigail? I'll let you bring him on, and you could just surprise me with whoever you have next. All right. Stay focused. That's what Nate said. He said, stay focused. And now we have the beautiful Sue White. She's always here looking really cool. So Sue's got a gold plaque behind her. I don't know if you can see that there. All right. So she's got the gold plaque right there, and the gold plaque signifies, and she actually has one of the newer plaques too. So she doesn't have the older plaque. She's got the new one with her picture back there. So
yeah, it's kind of on the other side of the room, so it looks smaller, but it's just the same size as the one that Ty held up.
Same size and all. So Sue, as someone who's achieved this level of success here, $10,000 a month with Kindle publishing royalties, like, what did it take for you to get there? Like, what was that number one thing that you would say it took for you to get there? If you think back on your journey.
In terms of my mindset, it was just the decision that there wasn't another option. not getting there wasn't an option. So there was only one way to go, and that was to get there. I don't know if that's what you mean, but the other thing that helped to get there for me was, well, I guess I would say to everybody, expect to have issues, expect to reach little bumps in the road, and expect that if you have issues with a freelancer, if you have a problem, if you run into something that doesn't go perfectly, unfortunately, you're not special. You are, but when it comes to that, you're not special, because everybody runs into that. So don't expect to have a smooth road, because that's not realistic. And, you know, life isn't perfect. And, you know, success and progress doesn't look like this, right? It looks kind of
it's all
like
over the
that.
place, right? Yeah.
And so it's not getting bogged down when you feel like you're in the middle of that and thinking that's the way it will always be.
Yeah. Let's talk, and I'm so glad that you said that, right? To expect to have issues, because sometimes when you see a program where they're teaching you how to do something, or they're teaching you how to have success, they really don't talk about the obstacles, right? They really don't. You're thinking that it's all going to be this rose layered road that you're going to walk on. You're not going to have any problems at all. Give us, if you don't mind, let's talk about one or two obstacles that you had along your journey of getting to $10,000 a month with Kindle royalties.
Sure. When this was first happening to me, I did think I was special. I didn't feel good about it. Why only me? But yeah, it everybody to some extent. My biggest issue was ghostwriters. It was finding ghostwriters that were reliable, that I had ghostwriters. There's all sorts of stories that you might hear. They might just disappear. I had several that just disappeared. I had one, you know, whose spouse was cheating on them, so now they had to leave. I had two who said they were moving.
That was a story in itself there, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I had two very close together who randomly said, oh, I'm moving to a different country, so it's just too much. And like things that all very dramatic. And so I had a bit of a complex for a while, thinking I was attracting people who had very disruptive lives. But I realized it's probably just, it's a reason that you can't refute. It's like, oh, well, okay. You can't get mad at someone if that's the case. So for me, it was finding consistent ghostwriters that I could rely on. And it seemed to me to feel like it took forever. You know, I had a great one and they were great for months, and then something would happen. And the secret and the tip is to just block out the noise that goes on in your head and just keep going.
Very cool.
You can't let the chatter take over, because it will drag you down. So
now,
that was just one of the challenges that I've had.
Yeah. And you know, the fact that you brought that up, because it's just like life, right? I don't think there's anyone that's walking this planet that has gone from being born to like living to 70 or 80 years old that has not had a challenge, right? So life is just, I mean, and sometimes you have challenge after challenge after challenge within the same month, you know, let alone the same year or so.
Yep.
But how has being part of a community helped you to overcome those challenges? Like when you felt like you were alone, or you felt like this isn't for me, or you felt like this isn't going to work out?
It was, I've heard many people actually comment about how life is about overcoming challenges, because that's just how it is. I mean, even when we're babies and we're first born, look at the challenges that we have to overcome just to learn how to walk. I mean, as soon as we arrive, we're faced with challenge after challenge. So that never stops. Business building is no different. The community is great. It was, even if I wasn't in it, I knew that the community was there and that everybody is so supportive. And everybody is, you know, going through their own journey and path, and maybe discovering things that I haven't come up against yet in terms of issues or challenges. And just, it was kind of just knowing that they were there, just sort of this collective. It wasn't necessarily about reaching out to certain people. That was the biggest help to me. It was seeing that everyone was still putting in the work, and everyone's still going, and some people are having early success, and some people are still, you know, head down, and they're just moving forward. And it was the feeling that even though people aren't physically, you know, near me, I wasn't alone, because everybody was sort of doing it the same. The other thing for me anyway, that was helpful is I'm a natural person who likes to give value if I feel like I can. And so being in the group and helping people with the things that I could help them with helped me to feel that I was more powerful if I was having a bad day. Yes. And I was feeling low, and I was allowing, getting bogged down in some kind of a challenge. So it was getting my head off of myself and helping somebody else. And that was a big thing. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing how that works? So you said two things that I really want to touch on. And that is, number one, feeling like you're not alone there. And then the other thing is being able to go in and help other people. So how many people have been helped by Sue? People that are part of a community. Just go in and put Sue's name in the chat box really quickly, because I want to see, like me and Marty, we've talked about this before, like how giving you are. This was a couple of months ago. We were talking about like how you're in the group and you're always consistently giving. And that was actually before you and I had spoken for the first time.
Yeah.
Right. So Marty had already framed you in a sense, like, Sue is like this Wonder Woman badass. She's always in the group, just helping people out and just giving. And that helps you, right? So the giving helps you in turn.
Absolutely, it does. There's a lot of power in getting your mind off of yourself. We can so easily get, cloistered and covered up in our own crap, for lack of a better way to put it. And so just, forgetting about my own problems and helping somebody in a very practical way. And answering a question that I know the answer to. And if you don't know, you don't know. It doesn't matter how complex the question is. And so being able to pass along something that's really helpful totally changes, the vibe that for me that I have. So it was super helpful helping people.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Sue, look at the chat box when you get a chance. Look at how many people typed in your name, Sue, there, right? So there, we don't mean to make you
my name
blush.
is nice and short to type, so.
Yeah, nice and easy. So guys, let's give it up for Sue. Sue, thank you. We appreciate you. Give me one tip really quickly before I let you go. For the person that's looking to jump into this journey that may already be in it, give us one tip, something that you do, like your own approach, your own spin on something that you may be doing. We're putting her on the spot. Look at that.
You are putting me on the spot. There's so many things.
It could be anything. It could be mindset. It could be approach.
I think that I would say expect a lot out of yourself, but also give yourself grace. So finding a way to have that balance. So as an example of what that means to me anyway, is I expect of myself to give this business everything I have. I can't, just show up halfway and kind of pretend to try and, then blame something that it didn't work. Like I expect me to show up for me. At the same time, if I need to take a half a day off or the full day off, or if I didn't have a super productive day because of whatever, I'm not going to beat myself up about it.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to get up and you got to go and you got to kind of reset, right?
Yeah.
So you go with the intention of giving everything, like putting everything in. But then when you have like those moments, that works for me. Sometimes I'll get up from my desk and I'm like, this is not happening right now.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll walk away for a few minutes. I'll go take a walk in the park or on the trail. And then I come back and I'm just good.
Exactly.
So there you
go. And
go.
Expecting a lot out of yourself can also mean giving yourself permission to take a break.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
because that is showing up for yourself. But very it's understanding the difference between I'm totally dialing it in today versus I actually need a break.
And that right there in itself is one of the reasons why Sue is so powerful with what she does and why she's so giving. So there you go. So Sue, we appreciate you. Thank you. Make sure that you guys learn from Sue. You come into the community, reach out to her, and most importantly, just watch. Look at what she does. So Sue, thank you. We appreciate you. Yeah. Who do we have next? Sue's on her way to a platinum plaque next, and we're gonna watch how she gets that thing. All right. We've got one of my other favorite ladies of the community here, Caroline. So Caroline's over in the UK, which means right now it is about 9:15 at night for you, right?
It is. Yeah.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better with these time zones here. Look at that.
I know.
So Caroline's at a community as well. So Caroline does not have her plaque on the wall. She did get a $10,000 a month plaque, but she agreed not to open it until Kindle Cash Flow Live. So now this is the very first time that Caroline is opening her plaque. So you've never seen this before. You didn't cheat, did you, Caroline? You didn't go and open it and tape it back up or anything, right?
I didn't.
Because I would have cheated. I'm going to be 100% honest. I would have been like, I'm going to get a razor. I'm going to straight blade this thing. I'm going to open it up.
Children, when it arrived through the door about a month ago, I think it was time, the children were trying to rip it open. I was like, no, we're not allowed to do it. And I said to them, Ty, I thought Ty was a nice guy. You know, that's mean.
Yeah, that is, oh my God.
But it taught me patience, and patience is a really important part of this whole process.
Now,
So,
how long have you been waiting? Because you got yours, we had yours, for everyone that's like outside of the United States, like you, and then Marianne, who's going to be coming up also, she's in the UK. And then Sue, that's in Canada. A few people that are outside of the US, we had them shipped earlier. So how long have you been waiting? What, has it been about 2 weeks or so, or longer than that?
I think it's about a month, isn't it? Since
about a month.
Right.
Wow,
It's
okay.
just literally been like this. Look, this is the evidence. Hasn't been opened. Hasn't been opened. There we go. I just hope it opens okay now.
So let's go in. Let's open it up right now.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll watch it with everyone that's watching this. So
and
do we want
also-
her to open it? Let's in the chat box. Open.
I'm under
Open.
pressure.
Open.
Under pressure.
Open. Open.
Okay, here we go.
All right, there we go. We're
Okay.
gonna see what this thing looks like.
This will be really embarrassing if it's not in there, Ty.
Oh yeah, if that's the wrong
Have
package,
to
right?
quickly mute me again. Okay, I'm gonna go. I thought this is better than a knife. It's going. Right.
And be careful with those scissors, Caroline. My insurance does not cover that. All right, so you gotta be.
Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh.
Let's see what happens. I'm just as
Now I can get
excited
it on
as
the
you are.
wall. Oh,
Boom, this is beautiful. Now, Caroline is getting this. She's received this plaque because she's generated over $10,000 a month with Kindle publishing, $10,000 a month in royalties, right? That's what she gets to keep there. So there you go. Boom, it's nice and packaged. All right.
packaged nicely. All
Right,
the way from North Carolina.
There we go. Let's see. What does it look
There
like?
we go.
Boom, look at that. She's got her picture on there as well.
So I've had a picture of this picture
That is
for
really cool.
the last month. So there we go. So I think it's going to go up there. I need to get that fixed up there.
That'll be perfect. What do you guys think? Does that look beautiful or not? Like, can you imagine yourself holding one of these things because you've hit your goal? Like, how many people can imagine receiving their plaque and opening it up like that? If you can imagine that, just type in me right here, me in the chat box, right? Very cool. Caroline, I hope you like the picture that we threw up on there. Like, we looked at your pictures and I'm like, this is a beautiful picture right here. We're going to throw this bad boy
I
up
like
here.
that picture.
You
Yeah,
look
that's
so
nice.
elegant there. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. All right. So Caroline, I'm going to hold you to the fire. All right. To get to this point, right, where you have now received the plaque, like what did that take for you?
For me, it's an interesting journey because I started about a year ago, and people have heard this before, but I started publishing children's books, but doing some of my own thing. Since being a child, I've never been very good at following instructions. So I sort of thought, okay, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do my own thing. And then I sort of had some success with that, but I had no publishing experience before I started with Kindle publishing last year. But then in September, I decided to completely focus and use the models and strategies that we teach in the program. And by December, I had sort of started with a new pen name, a new approach, following exactly what we're taught.
So you started like all over again, basically.
I started over again
right?
in December.
Okay.
So I sort of got from 471, I think it was, dollars in December to the 10K now, and sort of heading to the 20, hopefully within the next 3 months, 6 months, but it's certainly on the cards. And I think a lot of that was around looking at what, for me, a really big thing for me, and this is going to sound a little bit obsessive. I remember telling the other coaches this, and they were like, oh my gosh, it's stalking me. I look very closely at what people in the group that were getting the 20, 30K a month figures that I wanted. I looked closely at what they were doing, and a lot of those people were sharing the content of what they were doing. And I thought, okay, this is, if they can do this, I can do this. So I printed out all their posts. I had them all here. I tracked it all out, and I just copied. I used the programs. I copied the successful people, and it just started moving quickly.
You know, Caroline, there's no secret as to why you're successful. You know, I've heard you talk about that before, but every time I hear you, it just reminds me of the fact that you have to be obsessive. Like, you have to be all in. Tony Robbins talks about that. He talks about being totally submersed in it. Like, you can't play this game and have just one foot in. Like, you have to be 100% in. And when I hear your story, that's what I get out of it. I hear that you were all in 100%. Type in all in the chat box. If that makes sense to you, type in all in the chat box. So Caroline, what I want to do is give us one thing that you would share with the individual that's watching this that maybe new, they may be where you were at and they want to start all over again, or they're just coming in. What's one thing that you would share with that individual that's watching right now?
Yeah, so I'm trying to say something that no one said up until now. I think
doesn't matter. You could say it in Caroline's way.
There are many things, but if I pick out one thing, I think it's really, really important to keep it simple. You know, we can. I don't know about other people here, but I made a career out of making things complicated and being a perfectionist before. And I remember one of the first things that I heard you say, Ty, on one of your webinars was about just keep it simple, don't overanalyze, just get going straight away with this. And so I noticed that I was doing all this activity before December, and once I stuck to the program, kept it really, really simple, it was just, I'm just doing a few things. I'm just doing a few key things, you know, ads, publishing like crazy. And the other thing that's sort of linked with that is keep it simple, but also keep publishing. Don't publish a series and have a big gap. You can do that, but it won't get you to the 10K, 20K quickly. It's going to take more time. So for me, I went on this sort of ninja journey from December where I was going to publish like 4 books a month. And that's what got me to where I am now.
So you were super focused, but you kept it super simple, not overanalyzing.
Absolutely.
You're not making it complicated, right? And
and not masses of different promotions or anything, just simple. And so and it's important to say, you know, I did this really, really, really focused. I touched my business every day, but I did this on top of a job, 3 kids. I'm on my own with them, so just about everything you have to do there. So when I started this, I didn't have time, but I changed things that I was doing. I stopped watching TV. I didn't do a lot of that anyway, but got off Facebook, you know, apart from in the group, and just completely focused.
Hey, so Caroline, wait, you just talked about, you talked about being a single mom, 3 kids, but you also so I think we're forgetting this. Caroline had came in and she set a goal. So for those of you that are in a Facebook group, she said, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going full-time with Kindle publishing. You were able to do that, right?
Yeah.
I never got a chance to really say how much you inspired me with that, like to go in, because I did the same thing. I actually quit my job at Walgreens Pharmacy and my manager wanted me to stay. And then she talked me into staying for just 2 more months. And then I stayed, and then she talked me into staying again. So it took me a year to quit my job. But with you were like, my goal is to quit my job and go all in with Kindle publishing, and you got there. How long? I don't know how long that took you between the time you set your goal and when you actually did that, but
months to 10. And of course, there's a journey along the way in terms of every single month just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just beautiful to sort of look back to December, January, and at the beginning of the year when I'm sort of climbing. You know, I'm still climbing, but I think it's setting that goal, but also not beating yourself up if you don't make it within that time frame, because you never know with somebody when it looks like they've had overnight success. You never know what's been going on before, you know. Like the other lady that was speaking earlier, I started this at 51, I'm 52 now, and I thought, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 55. Because I had a previous business that didn't go to plan, and in the sort of marketing world, and failed for 5 years in that. I had a job as well, but I thought this time, there's no way that's going to happen. But I also found this, which I love, I think it's when you find something that resonates. I love writing. I love outsourcing. I just completely in the vortex when I'm working my business. I love it. I could do it 24/7.
And you love helping people too. I noticed that we have a lot of people, women actually, that are in their 50s. When the other, I forget who it was that said it. I don't know if it was Tiffany or who was it that mentioned it. I think it was Tiff. I saw like a flood of women who said, I'm also in my 50s, which was like really cool to see that. So Caroline, I know it's late. I'm not going to hold you. We actually held Caroline the last time a little bit later, and then I kind of forgot that she was in the UK, and then I woke up feeling bad, and I'm like, oh my God. So your story is always inspiring. Check out Caroline in the group. Definitely reach out to her. If you had a coaching call scheduled with her, make sure you do not miss it because she is incredible. I call her Caring Caroline. There you go.
Oh.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Who do we have next coming up? This is fun. Like, this is the cool part of this thing right here. I love it. I love it. Let's give Caroline a big thank you too. Please go in. I see a lot of people saying thank you. Caroline, take a look at how we're appreciating you here. All right. We got my man, the one and only Michael Lopez. All right. So Michael, firefighter, Kindle publisher, and $10,000 a month Plaque owner now. Michael has also reached that level of hitting $10,000 a month with Kindle publishing. Mike, man, it's good to see you. Good to speak to you. I know a lot of people have had a chance to talk to you over the last day or two, and we've been getting flooded with like chat messages from people that have said, I've spoken to Michael and he's helping me with this and he's helping me with that. And man, you're just a giver as well. So I appreciate you for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right. So Mike, let's talk about like, what did it take for you to get to this $10,000 a month level? Because I don't think you and I, outside of the interview, I did interview you, but I don't think we ever talked about that. Like what was your motivation for getting there and what did it take?
So for me, I mean, at the beginning, I joined back like October 2020. For me, from the beginning, my biggest thing was always my why, which was at the beginning, it still is, the why is retiring my mom. So that's kind of where it all started. And that's kind of where all my hunger started for doing this. So really at the end of the day, I mean, it came down to either, giving up on this or, my mom not being retired. So there wasn't really an option to fail from the beginning, really. And that sort of just drove me and, made me want to take action every day and just, baby steps to get to where I'm at. And every month things just kept progressing and progressing. And, I'm here now with the Plaque. That's what I visualized since the beginning.
Very cool. Mike, so having a why like that, like I totally agree, man. Having a why, especially something that, when you get tired or when you start to doubt yourself or you don't think that you can do it or when the distractions come into play is so crucial. So I appreciate the fact that you shared that with us and the reason for your why. For the person that's watching this and they're doubting themselves, right? They're doubting that they can do this. Give us one tip, something that you may do or something that's helped you to maintain like the motivation to do this.
I would say my biggest thing is always just taking action. So instead of, like watching a ton of videos and over analyzing things, actually, do those things while you're watching the video or after you watch, committing on the spot, instead of, pushing it back, saying, I'm gonna do this next week or the following week, just even if it's something small as far as like taking baby steps from the beginning. So if you're just starting, the Kindle publishing, the little baby steps you can take is just, creating that fan page or, creating an account to build your email list or just simple things like that. And to me, those small wins just steady add up over time, and doing something every day really helps. And building, you know, this Kindle business from the ground up.
There you go. I love it. Beautiful. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. Guys, in the chat box, let Michael know that we appreciate him, his time. And again, if you've had a call scheduled with Michael, you already know what type of a guy he is. We had one of our guests who came up, and it was the individual that was in Connecticut. He was talking about how, you know, he had his story and he was going to publish that. And then you went in and you said, listen, I'm going to help you out with your category. I'm going to help you to get this thing positioned in the right way. So you didn't have to do that, Mike. You know, like that's part of who Michael Lopez is. So Mike, take a look at the chat box. They are loving you in there, man. We appreciate you. And I can't wait to see that platinum plaque on your wall there. All right. So have a good one. We appreciate you. All right. So next up, who do we have next coming up? Let's see. Who do we get? We get the one and only Mary Ann. Mary Ann is right there. So Mary Ann, the CPA. Mary Ann is actually also in the UK. All right. And if you guys have not seen the interview that I did with Mary Ann, go in and check it out because she definitely shared a lot of great nuggets. So Mary Ann, I know it's late for you, just like it was for Caroline there. So I'm not gonna hold you here, but I'm glad that you joined us. So Mary Ann, do you have your plaque with you somewhere around?
Yes, I do.
Boom. So Mary Ann also has one of her plaques there with her picture on there, which is beautiful, right? So she's got a gold plaque for hitting $10,000 a month in royalties. Mary Ann, like you're a CPA, so you have this background, right? So what did it take for you to literally go from being like this person that's analytical? Because right, as a CPA, am I right or am I wrong in that? You kind of are analytical. When we had our interview, you dropped so many great nuggets there. But I'm like, I love the fact that she's using both sides of her brain, left side and right side, because as a CPA, sometimes you get pigeonholed into people thinking that you're only on one side, right?
Okay.
So give us a nugget right there. So what did it take for you to get to the point where you're at 10,000 a month with Kindle publishing and you've got the gold plaque? What did it take if you had to narrow that down to one or two things?
One or two things. Okay, let me say two things. I'll say determination and just surrounding myself with the right people.
Okay. Very cool.
Surround yourself with the right people. And just like Tiffany said, don't listen to people that tell you that you can't do it. If you surround yourself with people that tell you it's possible and you see other people doing it, and it will keep you going. So I was determined. I wasn't going to stop. Don't stop. Even if it looks like it's not working out, just keep going and yeah, you'll get there.
What keeps you motivated and determined even when you have the obstacles? Because Sue White talked about the obstacles, right? Did you have any obstacles along your journey?
Oh yeah, I had loads of obstacles. You know, when you think, I went through the course and thought I was doing everything right. And then I released my first series. It didn't really work out. I just felt, okay, maybe because I was new. Mm-hmm. The second one also. Then I tried doing the longer books. It still didn't work out. But I just kept going because I saw people like Nate. I think Nate started a month before me. Yeah. So, and I knew when he started and when we were all asking questions and we were all beginners, and I saw him grow. I also had James, someone else. I don't know if James is on board. So then came Seth. So I'd seen people around me so it wasn't just stories. So the success stories were real. Right. So that would keep you going. And I just kept telling myself that if they can do it, I can do it too. So even if I was releasing books and I was not really making any money, I just kept trying and testing. And like Sue said, was it Sue or Caroline? It was Caroline. I did exactly the same thing. I used to follow every post and see exactly what they were doing. And Nate was quite generous at the beginning, so knew his pen name, followed him a lot. Okay. I was literally spying on him to see exactly what he was doing and just copying people that were doing well. If you just keep at it, keep following the course, listening to people, ask questions, you will get there basically. And I think my motivation was the fact that I knew it was possible. So if other people could do it, why can't I?
Yeah, that's big, right? If other people can do it, why can't I? It doesn't matter who I am, doesn't matter who they are, right? you're in a Fast Pass group. So you're in there with Nate and Seth, and you're in there with Brian and Sue and Caroline and
Sue and
everyone else that's
Michael.
doing it, and Michael, yep, and everyone, right? So what do you get out of that? Like, what value do you get out of that Fast Pass group and being part of that?
Oh, it's a closer family. I know, yes, we've got the big cash Kindle mastermind group, but I think I feel closer to those in the Fast Pass group because we're all there trying to cheer each other up. I speak to a couple of people outside the group. So you're always encouraging each other. So especially those that we know our pen names, and you're there, they knock you off the chat, you call them up and say, oh, you've taken my slot, so you always encourage. There are times I wanted to give up. And it was nice to have people in the group telling me, no, you're almost there, you're almost there. And I used to say, how am I almost there? I'm not making this thing. But then it happened overnight. Like I said, I started in, I think it was about October, November 2019, and it didn't happen for me till February this year. It started from February this year. So that's 2021. So I just kept it. I didn't change any pen name. I didn't think there was anything wrong with my pen name. And my books were quite good because it was all an average of 4.5 stars.
Right.
I just felt it was my marketing. I felt I had to get my Facebook ads right and just communicate more with my list, try and personalize my communication as opposed to just doing like a general communication. I started building relationships with my list. And I think that really helped.
Yeah. What does it feel like to get, so speaking of your list, like what does it feel like to get emails from your list, or when you email your list and you get responses back? Because we kind of talked about that during our interview, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does it feel like for them to say, I love this book, or I can't wait until the next one that you release, or?
Oh, no, that's fantastic. I think when you build a rapport with your list, they can really help you. Like I said, when you interviewed me, I asked them for ideas. They steer me into the direction they want. I send them surveys to say, what do you think? What do you think I should write about next? And there are people that are willing to respond, especially when you build a rapport with them. So it's nice when you get, and they write to you to tell you, oh, that was fantastic. Their comments, apart from what they put in on Facebook, on Amazon, they actually write something else to you, like write personal messages to you. Yeah. Which is very, very encouraging. So it's really nice. And yeah, you get to know about some of them personally. I tend to talk about my kids when I write to my list. I talk about my son. I'm sure they all know who my son is, who's a little tyrant. He's only 7. And I ask them for advice when they ask me stupid, funny questions. I send them an email to say, what do you think I should respond to him? And they're always willing to tell me what to say. So it's just good to build a rapport with them and get to know you, not all of them, but at least a few of them I get to know. They tell you personal stuff if they're going through hard times, just to have a listening ear, just show you care. So I've had to build relationships with a few of them like that, which has really helped. And those are the ones I call my raving fans, because before my book is out, they're getting it. They're buying it.
They're ready, right? They're ready for the next one.
And they're the ones that will tell their friends about you. And so you don't even know where your sales are coming from.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, to have your list, because the money is in the list, right? We always hear that, and that's so important. So to close this out, Marianne, oh, I almost forgot. You set a goal, right? So like you were in a Facebook group, and I think you were at 8,000 a month or something, and then the month was about to close out, and you wanted to get the plaque. She was like, I got to get one of these gold plaques. So she's in the Fast Pass group, and she's asking everyone, what can I do to push my sales from 8,000 to 10,000 so that I get one of these plaques? Now, I want to make sure that I have a number right. What was it? 8,000 or 7,000? What were you at?
I was about just over 8,000, a little bit over 8,000. And I had a week to go, and I wanted to hit the 10,000 mark. Yeah.
So you had a little bit over a week to go. And then I saw your post, and I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, that's different, because your post was basically like, here's where I'm at 8,100 and whatever it was a month. I need to get one of those gold plaques. I need to hit $10,000 a month. What can I do? And then you started getting ideas. I think you had mentioned talking to Brian or someone that was in there, or some of the other guys, and they're like,
I have people telling me all sorts to do, increase your ad spend, communicate more spam your mailing list, basically. Just keep spamming your mailing list. Then I had a couple of old box sets, which I just dropped from like $3.99 to 99p, put it back up on Facebook. So yeah, it was good to know you can achieve that, because ideally I'd have just left it to just get to whatever figure it was going at that time. I might not have hit the 10,000, but the extra push helped, because it just made me think outside the box. Okay, what can I do differently? So I know it's possible. So I increased my ad spend. I actually also reduced my box set, and I just kept emailing my mailing list and telling them about the new special offer prices for my old box sets. And because you get new people on your list every day, I get new people on my list practically every day. So they might not know about your old box set. So that was new. And then they're getting it cheaper. So for 99p or I prefer them to read it with Kindle Unlimited, because I make more money from the page reads. But once you drop the price, it encourages them to get it. So that really helps. So even people that did not know about those books got it, that are new on my mailing list. Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
That's how I did it. Yeah.
Very smart. And this is what you get access to, folks. You get access to like the brilliance of a Marianne here. And Marianne, you got access to like the brilliance of other people that were in the Fast Pass group, because when you had that goal of saying, I'm at 8,000, I want to get to 10,000, and I need to do it this month, right? To be able to close that $2,000 gap there and get all of these ideas and people rooting for you, which I think is even more important. They're like, you can do it. You can do it. Here's what you got to do. Here's what you got to do. So that was beautiful. So Marianne, thank you for your time. My biggest takeaway from our conversation here is making sure that you have access to the right group. And then also, if someone else has done it, you can do it.
Can I add? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know everybody said, don't give up. Don't give up. What I'll say is one of my biggest.
You're not going to tell us to give up, Marianne. That's not it, right? You're not going to say, okay, all right, I just want to make sure.
Everybody says that. Everybody say, don't give up. It's true, don't give up. But I think something that worked for me, which I keep mixing names up. I'm having mushy brain today. I think it was Caroline. Write for the audience, not for yourself. So see what they want to read, yeah? Do your research, find out what they want to read. Don't write for yourself. Write what you know they will buy. Does that make sense?
That is powerful, especially for the writers that are in here.
Drop that in there.
Oh, that's a mic drop right there if I haven't heard one today yet. That's because the writers that are in here, the writers get so caught in your own world, right? And you forget that you're actually putting this out here, hopefully for other people to get enjoyment and to get education and to peace and everything else out of it. So Marianne, that was awesome. Beautiful. I was going to ask you to share one thing, but you just shared it. You just dropped it right for yourself. Thank you. We appreciate you. Hey, let's let Marianne know how much we appreciate her. Go ahead, load up the chat box. Let her know. Marianne, take a look at the chat box there. And let's bring on the next award winner here. Who else do we have? All right, cool. I want to bring on Coach Brian Topshire as well. I don't know if Brian's on that list. All right. You see Coach Brian Topshire. Brian, if you're
I don't see Brian, but there is Peter, and I'm just wanting to know, is he the support Peter?
No, it should be Peter. Are you talking about Peter A? So Peter A, if we have him.
I don't see him.
Yeah, Peter's not on. I know he had some obligations with his parents today. Okay. But let's bring on Brian. Brian Topshire, and then we'll go to whoever else you had on the list. I think we may have hit everyone.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So we got Brian. So Brian was one of our first award winners here. So Brian went like straight to like just knocking it out the park. He's got his plaque back there. And Brian, if you don't mind letting everyone know, what plaque do you have back there? Because you've got some special tech going on back there.
It's a digital version of my plaque.
Right. But now, which one do you have? Gold or platinum? That's the platinum. All right. Yeah. So Brian,
I never got a gold. I went straight to platinum.
We got to send you a gold, dude. we got to send Marty, Josh. What's going on? We're slacking. We got to send Brian a gold plaque. So let's definitely do that. All right, because he's got the platinum there. So he's definitely deserving of a gold, because to get to that $20,000 a month level, you have to pass the $10,000 a month level, right? Right. So what's going on there? So Brian, So Brian is a coach also. If you guys have had a chance to talk to Brian, or if you're in a Fast Pass group, you know how giving Brian is as well. Marianne was talking about just being able to go out and reach out to the different individuals that are part of this group and saying, hey, here's what I want to achieve. And then being flooded with like different ideas. That's what it takes there when you want to get to the next level. It takes being around the right people. And sometimes we don't have those people in our family. We don't have those people in our immediate areas of environment or whatever it may be. So Brian, what did it take for you to get to that level of hitting $20,000 a month and having the platinum plaque sent out to you?
I mean, it was a it was a lot of a trial and error as it went through. I mean, at the beginning, I mean, when I first went to the live event in 2019, I was like, this is going to work, and I'm just going to keep doing it until I get it right.
Yeah.
So I made a couple of mistakes along the way, but ultimately, I got a lot of feedback from Josh and Marty in the Facebook group. And I mean, I think that really helped a lot. And then kind of like what Nate said, really when I started experimenting with the Facebook ads was really when things just went, to the moon. And
so start playing around with different things and kind of split testing and
so there was a lot of testing, and that was obviously your guys' advice, just to just try it, see if it works. If it doesn't work, pivot a little bit. So I just kept trying, and then once I got something that worked, I just expanded that, just grew it as fast as I could. I was trying to keep up with Seth too, because Seth was like a week ahead of me on all his earnings. So I was like, I got to keep up with this guy.
But that worked like to your advantage, right? Like that, I think it like if you're playing basketball, you want to play with someone that's good, right? You don't want to play with someone that's like down here, the 4-year-old that can barely dribble and you can beat the heck out of them, right? So I saw that, like I noticed the competition. I noticed that it was a friendly competition and you guys are helping one another. Like that was the beauty of it right there.
Yeah.
Brian was one of our attendees at one of our last actual live physical events. I think that was in Maryland, right?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So if you notice, Brian's got on he's got like one of our exclusive shirts on there. It says Writer's Block, when your imaginary friends refuse to talk to you. Kindle cash flow. So check that out. All right. So Brian, give us one tip here for the person that's watching here. They're kind of stuck. They want to be like Brian Topshire. They want to get to that $20,000 a month level. Like, what would you say your biggest takeaway has been in that journey?
I mean, I think I know it's been said a lot, but don't get stuck in your own head and just take action. Every month I post kind of where I am, and at the end I put on the end like just do something, and I think that I've talked to a lot of people in the coaching zone that they get stuck in their own head on this or that, and if you're following the plan and you're following the tools there, whatever you pick is going to be the right pick for you. And if you have to, you can pivot at some point in time if you decide that it's not working the way you want it to work. But if you don't take any action, it's the Wayne Gretzky thing, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep.
So, I mean, that would be the biggest takeaway I have. I just believed in the system so much that I was like, I don't even care if I fail. I'm going to learn so much from every failure that, it's going to work. Cause it just clicked to me when you taught it. I was like, this is just going to work. I mean, there's no reason it shouldn't work. So, I would say just the doing something is the way to go.
And not being afraid of failing. I think that you put that beautifully, right? You're like, hey, just go in. And the other thing is that you said that I don't think I've heard anyone else say so far is don't be afraid to pivot. Like, don't be afraid to change it up.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing something and it's not working, like the genre, you have a genre and it's not working, like boom, pivot. Like, have you had to do that? Like, have you had to switch out genres and what's one thing that you had to change up?
So I had to change my niche. So, I mean, it's the same genre, but the market didn't like the individual niche. So I just pivoted the niche just a slight bit.
Yeah.
And that was the one that everybody seemed to be in. So that made a big difference. Like that was the difference between my series that was doing a couple $100 a month to my series that was doing $20,000 a month.
That is insane.
So that little pivot made a huge difference. I mean, and Facebook ads obviously helped too, but
yeah.
I still don't, I mean, I made enough, I still make money on my really old one that was in a different genre. It's still listed, but it's, you know, $20 a day versus the other one that's, you know, hundreds of dollars a day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There you go. Very big. And that's powerful right there. So the small changes, right? So those small incremental changes and not being afraid of switching things up, like not being afraid of making mistakes. So there we go. Brian, I'm glad you were able to jump in. I actually saw you at the top of my screen. So I was like, I'm going to put him on the spot. I don't know if he's going to be open to coming in or not, but
yeah,
it worked out. And let's give Brian a big thank you because he was not supposed to be here. And I saw him up there and I'm like, we got to get this dude in because he's so down to earth. And Brian, we appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Check out the chat. They're loving you in there, Brian. So take a look at it.
I got claps of it. Cheers.
Here we go. All right. So here we go, folks. So, I mean, as Brian said, don't be afraid to pivot. You know, something else that he said is get out of your own head. Like how many people, we're going to be honest with ourselves right now. How many people have been in your own head? Like you've kind of thought, this isn't for me. I can't do it. How many people have been doubtful so far? Right? Up until now, hopefully, like you have no reasons to still be doubtful. Like you have no reason to still be in your head right now. All right. Hopefully that's a thing of the past. You see that there's people that are on here that are just crushing it. You see people that are just starting out. You see people that are totally engaged, right? I'm looking at you, Kelly Hanner. I see you're totally engaged. You're like right looking at this bad boy, right? So there's folks that are in there. And as Marianne said, if someone else can do it, so can I, right? If someone else can do it, so can I. That's where you have to be. I want you to remember that. If someone else can do it, so can I, all right? So now, here's one of the things that I want to do here. I want to go and give you guys a quick 5-minute break, and we're going to come right back, all right? So right back, because we have something extra special for you. This is going to be something that, you know, you're not going to want to miss. So we're going to be back at, actually, we'll make it 9 minutes at the top of the hour, okay? The top of the hour. Does everybody agree to be back right at the very beginning, the top of the hour, okay? All right, I'll see you. We'll be right back.